Time now for News Talk, and our guest is Joanne Golden. She is here to answer any of your tax filing questions. And the number to call is 793-WKTV, and I'm told that we are lined up with calls right now. Go ahead. You're live on the air. What's your question?
Thank you. I was wondering, are health insurance premiums deductible under the medical deductions on the federal tax?
Yes. On Schedule A, if you itemize, you can take the health insurance premiums that you personally paid. If your employer paid them on your behalf, that's not a deduction for you, but if you paid them yourself, then you can take the deduction. The other thing about this also is that you used to be able to deduct, if you were self-employed, the health insurance premiums from your calculation for self-employment tax. That's gone away this year, so you don't have that benefit this year. But Schedule A, itemized deductions, it's still a benefit.
Okay. Go ahead. You're live on the air. What's your question?
Yes. Hello to both of you. My husband and I are both on disability, and we had a bond last year that we cashed in and had around $900 interest on it. We were wondering, do we have to claim that on taxes this year since we have no taxable income?
Okay. Well, if your taxable income is depending on your situation and how old you are, you would have and also, I just want to also confirm that disability benefits may be taxable depending on whether you get them through a W-2, if there are sort of replacement wages for income that you had earned. So if you're getting a W-2, you may need to file. The $900 would most likely not throw you into that situation of having to pay tax if that was your only taxable income. But I would run through the exercise of looking at where that income came from if you're receiving disability income. And again, some disability income is non-taxable, some of it is taxable. The other thing is if you're receiving Social Security disability benefits, that could also throw you into a situation where you're adding up your income and it might be close to $50,000. You could have some tax on it. So I would run through the calculation on the 1040.
793-WKTV. You're live on the air. What's your question? Hi, what's your tax question?
Yes, how you doing? I bought a second property in another state, and we closed in December. And I was wondering how, is there anything I could claim on taxes, and how does that affect my New York State taxes?
Interesting, yeah.
That's a really interesting question. If you're just owning the property, and let's say it's a vacation property, you might, if you itemize, be able to claim some of the taxes, that real estate taxes that you pay on that property. Or perhaps if you have a mortgage and it's your second home, you're allowed to deduct the mortgage on your second home, the interest expense on the mortgage on your second home. And that's if you itemize. If you are using that as rental property, that creates a whole realm of other
issues?
Yeah, issues, because you might even have to file a tax return for rental income in that other state that you've bought that in. And it is a little more complicated, but if it's just a vacation home, then you can file, you probably won't have to file a tax return in another state.
Okay. Go ahead, you're live on the air. What is your question? What's your tax question?
Yes, I recently just did my state taxes mainly. I did both of them, but my main concern is on the New York State tax, they're charging me a $53 penalty because I'm paying by check. Is this kosher?
Well, I think it depends on how you're filing. And if you are filing your taxes by e-filing, there are definitely requirements where you have to pay online, and you have to give that information to them. I'm not quite sure whether or not, what's causing that, but generally You should be allowed to pay by check. So I'm not sure what's driving that $53 penalty. It could be because you didn't pay enough in tax last year and you're getting an underpayment penalty.
And there's a big push to, at least in New York State especially, to file online, e-file.
Exactly, e-file. Very important. They really want to do that.
And that's the website you can go to, irs.gov for state. You can go to tax.ny.gov. And then the filing deadline this year, April 17th, which is 2 days. We have two extra days.
Yes, because, well, you still may have to file on the 16th depending on where you end up filing your tax return. If you file in Mass, if you
then we have our extra days, right?
Yes, yeah.
So it depends. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have the news to go coming up.